Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Lottie Loves Paper. It's my turn to play along with the sketch challenge this week and I'm using Maggie Holmes' Garden Party. Here is this week's sketch and I'm going to use, like I said, Garden Party to create this sketch. So my first thought was that I might turn the sketch upside down and have the V shape at the bottom of the layout pointing up towards the photos. So I'm just currently playing around with that idea and actually I'm going to change my mind and put it at the top as per the original sketch. I wasn't quite sure how to go about this sketch. I mean, clearly on the sketch there is like torn paper, but I decided to use the V shape instead instead of actually tearing the paper. I have a white background and I really love this floral paper from the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection. I decided to use that as a big feature on the layout. So I've just cut a large triangle from that paper because I had offcuts from where I cut the triangle, I decided to turn those over and use them in the other side and just tuck those under my bold pattern paper there so that I have another paper layer on the go as well. Even though they don't quite meet exactly, that's fine because my photos and embellishments and things are going to go over that middle point, so that gap won't be seen. That's my big V-shape piece or triangle piece assembled, and I'm going to get that stuck in place. I have distressed the edges of all of those pieces before sticking down. I have these two lovely photos of my husband and my 2-year-old. We were at some beautiful gardens and the sun was shining. I have some cute photos, so kind of like an avenue of trees, so very, very nice and perfect for this garden party collection. So on the sketch, there are lots of embellishments above the photos and inside the V shape. So I'm just working out what I can put above my photos. Now, of course, the added challenge here is that the background of the V shape is extremely busy because of all the florals. So therefore, if I have too much pattern against that pattern, it will look too busy and crowded. So I just had to be careful about what I used and what would look right on that very busy floral paper. So I've just been going through the ephemera and also the cut apart sheets to find some pieces that might work. So I like the idea of using the tags. I then played around with this idea of using some of the journaling cards that were a bit plainer. But in the end, I do go back to the tags, but I tuck them down a bit further so that not quite so much of them is on show. And I say that works well because I didn't want too much pattern against the very busy pattern in the background. I've also chose the gingham tag and I chose a whiter tag because the white one was plain, so that worked quite well. I'm now just going to work out if I can put anything else up there, but in the end I decided just to stick with those two tags. And then I have a journaling card from the ephemera behind my right hand photo. I love those kind of old school type pieces that Maggie Holmes does, I've just used it as a layer, so I have those colours kind of poking out, but not the full postcard on display. I've tied my tags through with some gold thread, now I'm working on the bottom cluster underneath the photos. So I've got some florals cut from one of the other floral papers, and then I decided that I needed to mount my photos, and I have the sheet of paper that has all the kind of oldie-worldy journaling cards on. So I've just cut that up and mounted my photos onto two of those, and I have distressed the edges of all those, of course. Then I can then work on the bottom cluster. I wanted to use lots of flowers on this layout because it's garden party, out in some beautiful gardens, yeah, so I've fussy cut some from the floral paper, one of the other floral papers. I'd already cut quite a few of those florals up for other layouts, and I just carried on and used a few more on this layout as well. I'm using all the bits from the corners and the edges now, but they work well because you can tuck them under photos and use them as layers. That big one there is is one of the fussy cut blooms, so just popping that in the middle of the two photos where they meet. And I have a big vellum flower from the ephemera as well, so that's tucked under. And I'm kind of extending my clusters right the way down, not all the way down to the bottom of the page, but heading towards that way. Yeah, so now I'm just looking as to see what else I can use. I'm thinking that I really ought to get my title in place ASAP, because otherwise I'm in danger of adding too many embellishments and then having nowhere to add my photos. So that's something I do a lot, so I just need to think about that and see if I can find something that will work there. As I'm looking for a title, I come across that lovely scalloped border piece in gold, and I've just added that underneath my photos. I cut it up so I had two pieces, so I've added one to the left side of the left photo, one to the right side of the right photo, so that's good, gives a bit of shine. Yep, so here I am adding the word lovely. So this is a sticker from the sticker sheet, and I'm going to raise that on foam pads just so that it stands up nicely. I like this because it's a solid sticker. It has kind of like a border around the word, so therefore you can't see the layers through the letters. So that works really well as a solid word. At the top, I'm just adding some label stickers from the chipboard sheet and from the puffy stickers as well. So we've got the word wonderful, wonderful you, and hello. They're all above my photos, and they do work against the busy background. At the moment, I have another one that says love, but I'm going to move that because the colour isn't quite working for me. So I'm going to move that one out of the way and use that for something else. Okay, so coming back to the embellishments, I've added a bow to the top of my photos. I'm now adding a chipboard flower at the bottom and some other pretty little hearts, puffy things from the sticker sheets, and more chipboard around the layout. So I really love the pops of black in this collection. I always think that black gives a nice, makes a layout have a lot of impact or drama. I always love using black pops here and there. So I've got some black hearts from the sticker sheet, and then the wonderful you at the top is black as well. The title obviously is black too. Just carrying on now, seeing what else I can add, bits and pieces from the collections. Now just adding in some thread, some twiddles of gold thread. I use a We Are Memory Keepers gold sewing machine thread. I just think that that's really lovely thread to use. It kind of behaves itself a bit more than regular embroidery floss, so that's what I tend to use. Although today it is not behaving itself at all and needs to be moved. I feel that my cluster on the left-hand side needs to extend down a little bit further. So I've just moved one of the hearts to that little gap down there, and I'm going to add a few other bits and pieces there as well. Just adding some more twiddles on the right-hand side now too, now going to add some more florals. They are from the sticker sheet, the 6x12 sticker sheet, the cardstock stickers, the flat ones. And some puffy stickers as well. I love the puffy stickers from this collection. They're super tiny and super cute and adorable. Lots of lovely little icons in there that can be used. Very usable. I find the little puffy stickers are great. And they're also, because they're so small, they're great for adding little details to clusters as well. Some of the ephemera can be too big, but the little puffy stickers are just ideal, aren't they? So I'm adding the word day to my title to extend it to say lovely day. And I've just done that with the black thickers from the Garden Party collection. And I've just popped that under the word lovely. So I say that works really nicely as a title, lovely day. And it was a lovely day. always I'm trying to use up other items from my stash. And I have a collection of Bramble Fox perspectives that I'm always trying to get onto layouts. I don't like to have too much excess embellishments left over, so I had one cute camera left, so that's gone over on the right hand side, and I have some little purpley flowers left over from last year's. I think they were called meadow flowers or something like that, and they were a set of all different colours, like pinks and greens and yellows and lovely ones, but the purple just didn't seem to get used last year, but this purple goes really well with this garden party collection. So I jumped at the chance of getting a couple of those flowers that I had left over into this layout. So I've got one little solid flower to the left, and then I've got an open flower at the top. I've also sprinkled some sequins onto my layout. I think this set is called Spring Fling by Spiegelmom Scraps. Pinks and blues and whites and lots of little pretty bits. So I've just sprinkled those around the cluster at the bottom and around the cluster at the top as well. So just going to get those stuck in place using glossy accents and a paper piercing tool. So I just move the sequin out of the way, put some glue down, and then move the sequin back into position. So it never takes as long as I think it's going to take. And the shake test there to make sure that they were all stuck. Now I'm just adding some splatters of gold paint. So I'm using a Shimmers paint. Minor 49er is my favourite one for gold. And just splattering those on with a paintbrush. And I just covered my photos in case I get any rogue paint splatters. And I think that is me done. I've added a few lines of journaling at the bottom already. Oh, and I've just got some paint splatters on a puffy sticker, so I'm just wiping those off. And that's me done. So I really loved playing along with this week's sketch challenge. I hope you enjoy the challenge. Head over to the Lottie Loves Paper group to join in. And of course, there are prizes along the way too. Plus lots of inspiration from the design team. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Lottie Loves Paper.